Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to you all. This is Monisha from Swarit Advisors, and today we are going to talk about essential elements of Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. Money laundering involves earning money through illegal sources such as corruption, organized crime, narcotics trade, etc. It deprives government of the legitimate revenue, and therefore government has introduced statutes to prevent money laundering. Through the enactment of Prevention of Money Laundering Act of 2002, a critical step was taken towards the prevention of money laundering. Let's take a look upon what are the objectives of the PML Act. The legislation dealing with money laundering is called as the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. It was enacted to tackle the menace of money laundering in India. Its main objectives are as follows: prevention and control of money laundering, to provide for confiscation and seizure of property got from the laundered money, and to deal with any other issues associated with the money laundering in India. The Act came into effect from 1st of July 2005. The Act was amended by PML Amendment Act 2009. It was again amended by the Prevention of Money Laundering Amendment Act 2012. It may be noted that there are other specialized authorities who tackle the issue of money laundering apart from PMLA provisions. These authorities includes RBI, SEBI, IRDA, Anti-Money Laundering Regulations. Majority of these authorities provide suspicious transactions reports that are analyzed by financial intelligence units formed by the central government. So, who are the authorities for implementing the Prevention of Money Laundering Act? The Enforcement Directorate, Department of Revenue under the Ministry of Finance, investigates the money laundering offences under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act of 2002. Financial Intelligence Unit India under the Ministry of Finance is the central national agency responsible for receiving, processing, analyzing and disseminating information pertaining to suspect financial transactions to enforcement agencies and foreign FIUs. Certain offences are also investigated by police, customs, SEBI, CBI, etc. under their respective acts. The various powers of the investigating officers under the Act can be enumerated as: to provide to provisionally attach any property derived or obtained either directly or indirectly by a person as a result of a criminal activity related to a scheduled offence, or the value of any such property; to conduct survey of a place; to conduct search of the building, place, vessel, vehicle or an aircraft and seize or freeze records and property; to conduct personal search; to arrest a person accused of committing the money laundering offence; to summon and record statements of person concerned. Coming to the applicability of the provisions of Prevention of Money Laundering Act, it may be noted that the provisions of the Act shall apply to each person who directly or indirectly attempts to indulge, knowingly assists or knowingly is a party or is involved in any process, activity connected to the proceeds of crime, including the concealment, possession, acquisition or use, and claiming it as unattained property, will be guilty of money laundering. Here person shall include an individual, a HUF, a company, a firm, an association of persons, body of individuals, whether incorporated or not, every artificial judicial person not coming under any of the preceding subclauses, and any agency, office or branch that is owned or controlled by any of the above persons specified in preceding subclauses. Therefore, apart from the natural person, legal entities are also covered under the expression person under the Act. Next, let's go into the meaning of proceeds of crime. Proceeds of crime refer to any property derived or obtained directly or indirectly by a person due to criminal activity pertaining to a scheduled offence or the value of any such property. The offences provided in the schedule to the PMLA Act 2002 are scheduled offences in terms of Section 2 subsection 1 clause Y of the Act. The scheduled offences are divided into Part A and Part C. Part A includes offences to the schedule is listed in 28 paras and it comprises of offences under IPC, offences under narcotics and psychotropic substances, offences under Explosive Substances Act, offences under the Arms Act, offences under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, offences under the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act, etc. Part B has been omitted by the 2012 amendment and all the offences have been placed in Part A of the schedule. Part C deals with the trans-border crimes and it is a crucial step in tackling money laundering across international boundaries. At last, we can conclude that the ultimate objective of any criminal enterprise is to make profits. Money laundering is one of the ways through which criminal proceeds are made by hiding their origin. The Prevention of Money Laundering Amendment Act 2013 was made stringent with a view to tackle money laundering. Some stringent provisions are placed under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act amendment against a person who commits the offence. That's all for this video. This is Monisha signing off. For more such details, do like, share and subscribe our videos. Thank you.